What about it, YouTube? All right, so I'm almost through watching this 2 hour plus dissertation called Why Noahide. And I think it's like super dynamite, and everybody should check it out, okay? Because it cuts through the muddy waters, and it describes how there's an ontological war on reality. And that's what's going on. So I implore you to watch that. And then I just have a couple things that came to mind I want to say, kind of related to that. All right. So I was raised Mormon, and I don't know how all the other schisms or sects of Christianity talk about or uh, what their story is exactly when it comes to the war in heaven. Anyway, the Mormons talk about this war in heaven that happened, where Satan became full of pride and wanted to have the glory and sit at the top. And the way and his plan. So this is what the Mormons are basically suggesting is that there was a get together where God asked the question, how should we do things when it comes to earth? And the idea coming from Lucifer, Satan, whatever, the idea coming from the adversary was, okay, everybody will make it to heaven, and the way we'll do that is there won't be a choice. You'll just there's one way. That's the only way, and you won't have a choice, and that way you get to heaven, and everybody wins, and I get the glory though for having that great idea. And then there was a competing idea that said no, the people should have agency. They should have free will. They should have the ability to choose what they want to do, if they want to go this way or that way, accept God or reject God, and then based upon that, you'll find yourself in heaven. So there was this battle, and God sided with the let's have the free will thing, and I mean this is the Mormons talking. So that's why I don't know how the other sects talk about this, but the Mormons put it in your head that the adversary wanted to have all the glory, sit on the king's throne, whatever, and have all the glory, and that everybody would get, uh, rubber stamped into heaven because there wouldn't be a choice. You just there's one way to do things, and that's it. Okay. All right. So moving forward, keeping that in mind, all right, the situation that we're in, again, going back to this why Noahide and the rest of it, this ontological war on reality. Okay, so like right now, and traditionally, there's been a choice. You could do the right thing, or you could do the wrong thing. And whatever it was, whatever moment in life, whatever moment in time, you're faced with choices, and you can go this way or you can go that way, right? And you can't serve two masters, and I'd rather you were hot or cold, So at each time, and you can turn the faucet back and forth. That's being warm, I suppose. But at each point in time, you have a choice to make of how you're going to handle things. So, with that choice in mind, you're allowed to sin for the most part, right? Like, I mean, like even if you had Christian, what's the right way to put it, or Mosaic laws enforced at least, right? Like to the letter, like thou shalt not kill. So abortion is outlawed, right? You're not so naive to think that that's going to stop it. It's just no, it's not going to stop it. For some things, like let's say pornography, or yeah, okay, let's just say pornography. Okay, you can have laws that say, hey, no pornography here, no pornography there, right? Which they probably should have, right? No pornography in libraries and schools and certain places, that's not the avenue, that's not the venue that we want to promote that, or we don't want to have that exposed to kids especially, but the wider public shouldn't have to go through this murkiness of nastiness and decadence and ill repute, right? So, it could be marginalized, right? So you have like the red light district in town, right? In Van Buren Street in Phoenix, Gaines Street, whatever your greater metropolis is, there can be, on the outskirts of town or under the bridge or somewhere, there can be this place where you get the magazines and the tattoos and that kind of thing, right? Or maybe even the brothel or whatever, right? So, but that's relegated to it. So you make the decision. You make the choice to go there. But no one stopped you, right? No one stopped you. It's just like, same thing with like, let's say buggery, right? Sodomy. You can say like, okay, look, we're not into the, sodomy is not cool as far as our standards, as far as, we're not going to have, you with a choke collar and a ball stuffed in your mouth, and the leather and your naked cock parading up and down the street in front of kids. We're not going to do that. Okay? We're just not going to do that. Sorry. Does that mean it's going to stop it from happening? No. But you relegate it away. You put it over here in the side corner, and then you have this overlay of a reality that is a true reality, that is the true reality, that accepts that there's a God, a creator that intends for us to live a certain way, and that certain institutions are sacred, like marriage and sex and family. These are sacred institutions to God that must be respected and protected, and the innocence of it needs to be protected. And there needs to be an avenue for that to thrive above all else. But we're not so naive to think that everyone's going to strive towards this perfection and is going to climb towards the ideal and push towards righteousness and the best. Okay? We realize that. But as a group, we're going to do it. As a group, we're going to make this the thing that we get behind and are motivated to promote, realizing that bad things are gonna happen, and maybe we need to have an avenue so that people can have that, so they don't bring it into the neighborhood. Give them the avenue so they can just go over there and do their thing and keep it away from the rest of us, right? Okay, but in that, all in that, there's the tolerance. There's the tolerance is in having free choice and free will and having choice. Okay. And by the way, on the whole thing of like pro-life, pro-choice, everyone's pro-choice. Everyone's pro-choice. So that's just a misnomer. It's just you're choosing death, and normal people choose life. And if you ask the baby would choose life. Okay. So you don't get to speak for the baby. That you don't get to take away the baby's choice. Okay? You might choose death, but then you become a murderer. Okay? So sorry, I got sidetracked a little bit there. But the idea that I'm pushing towards is that, and these little tricks, right? Using that kind of a trickery is what gets people confused, and next thing you know, it's embedded into the society. No, it needs to be relegated over here. It needs to be pushed over here, and then humanity embraces life. Sorry. The greater good, the striving towards the ideal embraces life. Sorry, we're going to do that. Sorry, we're going to promote family, and we're going to have a sacred respect for institutions like marriage and sex and family. Sorry, we're going to do that. All right. We understand that that's not for you, but you need to understand that you're going to do it over here, and you're going to keep it away from our kids. All right. So, but in there is the tolerance. Again, there's a trickery going on with words and stuff. So you're being told like, oh, you're not tolerant until you're bathing in it. All right. You're not tolerant you're a homophobe until you've got a dick in your mouth, right? We're going to call you names until you are part and parcel and participating in the Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And they tell you that that's what tolerance means. It's like, no, that's not what. But what will come? Again, going back to the Noahide and everything else, what will come from the meshing the two together in the Hegelian dialectic? This again, and overall, it's a war on reality. So you've got reality, and you've got a God who has a plan, and then you have a rejection of that, and they want that to be mixed, but as they mix it, they're taking this one away to synthesize. They'll take this one away too, though. So both of them, like the phoenix, out of the ashes of the chaos will come the order. So they put these two things, the sin or the iniquity or what, the adversaries, the inversion, okay? They take the inversion and they take the reality, try to mix it together, and what pops out is a totally new thing that got rid of God, that got rid of it got rid of everything good, and then now you're back to what I was saying, like the Mormons think. And again, I don't know if this is something anybody else preaches, so I don't know if you can relate, but you're right back to having total intolerance and having a one-way street. It's like handing out a test, and it says choose the answer, and the only answer is choice A, and it's the correct answer, or what, right? According to the test. Like that's the test at the end of the day. If the Noahide gets its way, right, there is no more tolerance. There's no such thing as tolerance. There's not even a word for it, or maybe even an idea, right? There's not even a consciousness of having choice or options or even the word tolerance. All of that will just be, that will be gone, and it'll just be one thing. Hive mind, and nobody disturbs the flow. It's just one thing. Right? And in their false messianic antichrist logic, right? Ipso facto, they have successfully replaced God, taken everything he created, it made it their own, and now this new creation is theirs to run and control myopically as the new God. Kind of reflective of what the Mormons say that Satan wanted in that war in heaven. Again, I don't know if anybody else makes that connection, but it was something that I thought connected. I mean, philosophically, metaphysically, whatever, right? So that said, I'm going to link this video called Why Noahide, and it's long. Speed it up to 1.25. I think you can stay on, it's not too fast. You can't listen and comprehend it. But try to get through the 2 hours of it, and check out what this guy's saying, how this metaphysical, this ontological, this war, it's not just the Jays, okay? So I'll give you that. But the Jays have the everybody else is riding on the Jays horse, right? If this thing was a horse being steered and controlled, it's being steered and controlled by the Jays, and everybody else is just hanging on because they're just hang-ons, Klingons, and creations of this idea, this false, this antichrist philosophy, this democidal, this sadistic, this cancer, this mind virus is kind of like, that's one of the words this guy uses. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Check it out. God bless.